I'm here with Reverend Jesse Jackson at the PUSHTech 2020 conference here in San Francisco. Reverend Jackson, thanks so much for joining me.
So good to see you.
So tell me, why are you tackling the tech industry right now?
It's a source of employment. It is a growing industry, and we should be a part of it, not just to work in it, but to be productive in it. This is the largest growth industry in the world. We must be a part of it.
I've heard you refer to the lack of diversity in tech as like the new civil rights movement. Could you talk a bit more about that?
Well, one civil rights movement was to end legal slavery, abolition. You can abolish slavery, be out of Jim Crow, and vote and be broke and impoverished without access to capital, industry, and technology and deal flow and relationships. So this is the civil rights of our time. Access to capital, access to computers, how to make them, how to sell them. We want to get 1,000 churches. They have at least 50 laptops in those churches so our children can learn apps and codes and financial literacy and stock market games. That could be 50,000 youth every half year, 100,000 youth, that we teach them how to function in this science. It's not that they can't do it, it's not been a priority to teach them.
How does the criminal justice system impact the lack of diversity in tech? Do you think there's a relationship there?
Well, there's a relationship because in most of these cities, it's a combination of guns in, drugs in, jobs out because of imbalanced trade policy. And so when they close manufacturing plants and we lose our homes to bank subterfuge, and the tax base goes down, you educate schools based on tax base, you have first-class jails, first-class and second-class schools, because there's a relationship between the tax base and education. We focus so much sometimes on what the defense is doing, the maneuvers that they are using to stop us. Mm-hmm. We don't focus on the offense we need to overcome their defense.
Okay, I like that.
But what I'm saying is that it's one thing for us to, they're trying voter suppression. Of course they're trying that. They tried voter denial. Therefore, what are you going to do about it? Well, in Louisiana, there are 500,000 blacks unregistered. Now, McCain and Romney beat Barack by 300,000 votes. We could have beat them in spite of their maneuvers.
Right.
In South Carolina, there are 900,000 blacks registered, 300,000 unregistered.
Right.
We lost the governor's race by 40,000 votes, 60,000 votes, the 40,000 registered who didn't vote. We can win that.
So regarding that election, the offense would have been voter registration.
And participation, and don't surrender, because when we do vote, big things come our way, like the presidency comes our way.
And so in the tech industry then, so what is the offense then?
Yeah, the offense is to master the skill of coding, is to put a focus on demanding our jobs and our position as we would on basketball court, because we can be as good at coding as we are at playing basketball. It means at Christmas time your parent may want to get you a laptop rather than basketball, and it's an attitude. We can master tech.
In comparison to the civil rights movement of the 60s to now, would you say that you still have the same amount of fire within you?
Fire's hotter. So every time a barrier comes up, then we go over the barrier. The barrier now is lack of access to Silicon Valley. We didn't know how good baseball could be until everybody could play. We didn't know how good basketball could be until everybody could play. We don't know how good technology can be until everybody can play. We demand the right to play, participate, and when we participate, we make the game grow.
What's the point of this conference here today?
By bringing together a critical mass of people who don't know each other, but ought to know each other. We were not bumping each other on the corner. We focus a lot on technology in the tech zone, but the non-tech dimension, they have lawyers, ad agencies, marketing, public relations. It's a whole range of suppliers and contracts, whole range of stuff beyond just tech stuff that's in the valley. And we should be a part of all of it.
In the last couple of years, you and your organization have been pushing for companies to release their diversity numbers. What's the next big push?
It was embarrassing. That's why they didn't want to deliver it, release it. High profile liberal guys, no shirts and ties, no wearing socks, cool guys. Employment around 2%.
Right.
Board members 0. Can't find them. C-suite 0, maybe 1. Can't find them. We broke that madness up because it's just not lack of talent, it's lack of opportunity.
Right. Intel CEO said earlier today on stage with you that in the company's next diversity report, they're going to release pay data.
That's a big deal because the pay disparities between blacks, browns, and whites, between blacks, browns, men and women, between where we are, between employment and vertical growth in the company. So Intel releasing this data twice a year should have an impact on other companies doing the same thing.
You've been advocating for civil rights for decades upon decades. Are you like building up anyone to kind of take over once? I mean, or do you see yourself working on this until the end?
I'll
really?
work until I can work no more. But we're teaching and building. You see Reverend Bryant here. You see Bush Wing here. You see you're here, and the whole point is to bring you guys into the mainline conversation. So we're free but not equal. And now the next stage, the next phase of our struggle is beyond freedom, is equality. You can be free, without equality, you can't expand, you can't grow.
In the most optimistic scenario, how long will this battle take?
It'll be determined by how persistent we are, how much pressure we apply. There's some relationship between applied pressure and change. Slave masters don't retire. They have no retirement plan. But if the enslaved change their minds, it ends very soon. When we change our minds and change our inclusion, things happen that way. If you don't vote, there's one result. If you do vote, there's another result. We vote in big numbers, we got an African-American president. Most votes, highest office. We fought for the end Jim Crow, we won. I keep saying that because there are those, I think, who, in this tug of war for the soul of America, you spend so much time arguing how the other guy's tugging, they stop pulling. You gotta keep tugging. In the deep water does not drown you, you drown when you stop kicking. You got to keep kicking.
Reverend Jackson, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it.
Keep kicking.
Will do. Will do.